Until Dawn is a game I had virtually no expectations of. I just thought it was a PlayStation 3 move game that was transitioned to the PlayStation 4. And while that is indeed true, the motion controls are now optional, and this happens to be probably the very best exclusive game currently available on the PlayStation 4. If you're an adult who happens to like scary games or scary movies, this is a game you absolutely need to play. So what is this all about? Well, it's about 8 friends who go up to a cabin in the woods on a mountainside, secluded away from everyone and everything. And something horrible happens, and 1 year later they get back together to sort of pay their respects. And I'm gonna leave it at that. That's pretty much the story in a nutshell. Your objective, much like the original Clock Tower, is to keep the 8 friends alive. And that is that. So how does it play? Well, it plays very much like Heavy Rain. In other words, there's a lot of quick time events. When you do control your character in a third-person view, you have very limited movement. You can only, say go down like a hallway or a path or whatever, but this makes the game look utterly incredible, which I'll get on in just a second. There are also reticules that you'll have to move over targets, things like that. There's also decision bubbles that you'll have to answer, say like in 2 seconds or something like that, and that's part of the game's charm. The gameplay never really gets in the way of the narrative, and that's the whole point. But the key thing that separates Until Dawn from the rest of the pack is the butterfly effect. Now, for you out there who don't know what that really means, it basically comes down to this. Small little choices that you make in your life can have the biggest impact, sometimes not just on your life, but on other people's lives. And the game goes nuts with these sorts of decisions. So, let's give an example. Well, let's say there's a character who's arguing with another character. Do you just sit back and let this play out? Or do you go in and say, okay, that's enough, guys, cool it down, we're here to pay our respects, like, shut your face. That one decision could change everything, and in fact, it could cause your entire team to die. And that's what really makes this game so bloody unique, is that sometimes the most trivial, meaningless decisions that you will make will have dire consequences later on in the game. Now, thankfully, there is a great menu system that allows you to keep track of all the butterfly effect decisions that you've made, so that when you finish the game, you can go back and replay each of the 10 episodes. The game's broken down into 10 chapters, and sort of veer off in different directions in different paths. I would imagine that you can replay this game probably like 24 times or so in order to see absolutely everything. Now, this is a horror game. This game will scare the living crap out of you. The first 5 chapters in particular are absolutely brutal, featuring tons of jump scares and always knowing that there's something out there looking at you, watching you, hunting you. And man, I can't tell you, I was really genuinely afraid for the first, I'd say, up to around chapter 7, because what happens after chapter 7 is the game starts focusing a lot on wrapping up the storyline, sort of fleshing things out. Now, that does not mean that it's not scary, it's just that you sort of acclimatize yourself to the jump scare. So I found myself not quite as scared as I was in the beginning of the game. Now I want to go and touch base on the audio-visual presentation. Yes, there are a lot of famous actors. Well, I don't know if I would say famous, but there are a lot of Hollywood actors in this particular game. They do a great job with their voice acting. I mean, this is actually a really well-acted video game, but it's the graphics and the audio package as a whole that's just breathtaking. Because of the limited interactivity, the developer, Supermassive Games, was able to pump out just unbelievable visuals, from stellar particle effects like what you'll see with fog, to just, I don't know how many polygons these characters are made of, but they look absolutely photorealistic. It's just amazing. And the audio is superb. The PlayStation 4 has some of the best audio I've ever heard come out of a console. It's just amazing. Now, not everything is roses, and this might actually be moot by the time you guys see this. There may be a day one patch, but there was no inverted aiming controls. And for someone like me, when you have to make a split-second decision in order to save a character's life by moving the analog stick up or down, if you're used to playing with inverted controls, you're pretty much going to lose that character. And that's exactly what happened to me. But overall, I know a lot of people sort of feel, well, if I experience the story once, that's pretty much it. But with this game, it's not like that at all. Whole sections of the game aren't playable unless you make the specific choice that keeps a character alive, and then that will open up a branch for a whole new section of the game. Meaning that the overall replay value is staggering here. And I'm actually going through the game multiple times now myself in order just to see how I can change all the different branches of the game. And it's truly spectacular. I'm enjoying every single minute of it. Overall, I would say if you have a PlayStation 4, you're an adult that likes horror movies or just, scary games like Resident Evil, things like that, or if you were a big fan of Heavy Rain, I would highly recommend you check this game out, as it's absolutely one of the best PlayStation 4 exclusives of 2015. For a lot more information on Until Dawn, go check out the written review over at projectcoe.com.
7. Sam!
You